Today, I'll answer the burning question every real estate agent has. What should you post on your Instagram? Hi, my name is Amanda. If you're new here, welcome. I am your go-to resource for building your real estate business without ever making the dreaded cold call. So before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's video and what you should actually be posting on Instagram, let's talk about the essence of Instagram, because I think it's often very misunderstood and that ultimately impacts your approach to it. Instagram is such a powerful tool, and it's not only for building and engaging with your audience, it's taking it a step further and actually building relationships. That is what Instagram is for, and that is the key to setting your Instagram up so that you are actually gaining business from the platform. Crafting your Instagram presence is so much more than just a gallery of houses or just listed and just sold. One, that is super boring, and two, the general public and even your audience really doesn't care about any of that. When you are crafting your personal presence on Instagram, you want to keep in mind, keyword personal. You need to have about 80% personal posts and 20% business posts. And I know you're thinking like, wow, that ratio seems really off, but hear me out. Instagram is a platform to be able to tell stories. So all those just listed and just sold posts, they really don't mean a whole lot unless you put a story behind them. Make it personal. So if you have just had a closing and let's say it was a first-time home buyer, tell that story. Don't put just sold and all the different graphics on it. Just tell the story behind your client. How did that client come to be a client? How did you help them through the process of purchasing their first home? Was there any heartache? Did you lose out on a couple houses? Share that story. People connect with stories. They do not connect with just listed and just sold posts. Next up is when you are posting your personal content, you want to make sure that you are authentic and relatable. And it's a lot harder than one might think to come across as yourself on social media. All of us hold back a little bit when we really shouldn't. Sometimes we filter ourselves, whether it's physically or what we would really say if we were talking to, say, one of our close friends versus just an acquaintance. And the reason that you really genuinely need to be just yourself on Instagram is that's how people are going to connect with you. Instagram is an amazing tool to filter out people that don't like you. If they're consuming your content and you're genuinely being yourself and they don't like it, they're going to move on and go work with someone else that they are better suited for. That is such a blessing for you. Instagram is doing the weeding out for you. You don't have to worry that when somebody reaches out to you and they're contacting you, it's because you've already built that rapport with them online. Share that personal content. If you have a hobby, share it. If you like to try local restaurants, if you're a pet lover, if you are coaching at your kid's sporting event, whatever you are doing in your actual daily life, share that authentically. Number 4 is showcasing your personality through your real estate content. So of course, there's going to need to be real estate content on your Instagram account. You're a real estate agent and you want to be able to share with everyone what you're doing and what services and value you provide. But within that, you need to be sure that you are weaving in your personality. You want your audience to be able to know the personality that's behind the professional. So whether it's a property tour or a staging session or a buyer consultation or just behind the scenes, day in the life, whatever it is that you're sharing, make sure that you are also revealing who you are in terms of your personality. That's really important to make that human to human connection, even though this is all online. And that's really the secret sauce. It's showing up authentically and also being comfortable to show your personality. Because what that's going to do is attract the right people to start showing up in your DMs. Next is the power of personal stories. And showing up in your stories is really where you begin to nurture and then form those relationships I talked about earlier. Stories allow you to entertain, inspire, or even educate, and this is a great way to connect with your audience. Be sure that you add captions to your stories because a lot of times, myself included, we're watching stories, reels, whatever it is on Instagram, and we don't have the sound on. So by adding those captions, you are appealing to more of your audience if they're in a situation where they want to consume your content, but they can't have their volume on their phone on. So add those captions. Number 6 is your business content and really showing your expertise. And this still goes back to storytelling. Again, do not do just listed, just sold posts. They are not going to get you any business, and they're really self-serving. They're not for your audience. So when it is time to post your business content, which we want to weave into the mix, make sure that you are coming from a place of telling a story. You always want to be telling a story. Stories are what sell, but they sell naturally. So let's say that you have a listing coming. Take your viewers on a sneak peek of that property and make sure you're in the video. I know it can be intimidating, but you will get so much better engagement if you are showing up in your videos, your reels, your stories, even your carousel post. If it's an educational post, make sure that your face is somewhere in that carousel, preferably in a small location on the corner on each slide. You want your audience to identify with you, and in order to do that, you have to show up. But when you're posting your business content, make sure that you are also including the story behind it. You want to make sure that you are always connecting with your audience. So whatever the story is, maybe the listing that you have coming soon that you are not only giving them a sneak peek of, you're also going to share that it was a referral from a client that you worked with 3 years ago. Whatever the story is, make sure that you are sharing it. That's where you really are going to get that engagement and start forming those connections. You want people to be able to relate to not only you, but also your content, even when it's business related. Think of Instagram as your brand building stage. And by that, I mean Instagram is your stage, your platform, whatever you want to call it, to be able to appeal to your audience while still being yourself, educate them, provide value, and ultimately make those connections. And it's not just about you on stage pushing content out. You also want to engage with your audience. Take the time to go to their Instagram account and comment on some of their posts. Not just like, actually comment. And preferably don't just leave a few emojis in the comment. Actually takes time to type something out. Social media is something that is often overlooked, especially on Instagram, and I would say TikTok as well, is people consume so much content, but then they're not giving back. And if you're looking to actually build an audience and a community, you also need to give back to your followers. Next is leveraging video for engagement. I sound like a broken record in my videos on YouTube here, but I cannot stress it enough. If you are going to be looking to build your business and an audience on Instagram, you have got to leverage video. It's no longer an option. It is an absolute must, and it will improve your engagement 10 times. Reels in particular, they are just where it's at right now. You can get so much organic engagement from Reels when you do them properly. So make sure that when you are formulating your content creation calendar for Instagram, that it is heavy on video. And video could be Reels, it could be video in your stories, or it could just be a video post as well. Whatever you do though, do not skip over video when you are going to be mastering Instagram. Number 9 is Carousel Posts. And these are a great way to maximize user engagement because it increases the amount of time that your audience is spending on your posts because they're having to scroll across. I use these for educational content and they perform beautifully every time. These are posts that you can design in Canva and you can set them up with a scroll of different photos. And then in the caption, make sure that you are expanding upon the information that's in the actual carousel. This is a great way to have some of your content planned ahead of time because you can get these all set up and ready to go. So I like to filter them in once a week because it helps me control what's going out and be more prepared. Just keep in mind for your carousel posts that you absolutely want to mix them in. How much you do is really up to you, but it will increase your engagement just because your viewers are spending more time on the post. Number 10 is Instagram stories versus your feed and knowing which content to put where. This is really important. Your stories are where you show up. It's the real you. It's your day to day. It could be you're out for a walk. It could be you're out showing a house. Your stories are really where you build those relationships. Where your feed, you should be looking at your feed as the highlight reel. So put your absolute best content, and by best content, I mean what you have actually determined is going to perform well with your audience. That's a topic for another day. You always want to be analyzing and tracking your data on Instagram so you know what you should be posting. And the longer you do that, the more you'll know. But anytime you're thinking about making a post in your feed, ask yourself, is this your highlight material or should this just be your day-to-day? And if so, put that in your stories. I cannot emphasize enough that Instagram is for delivering value, entertaining, educating, inspiring, and ultimately building relationships. I encourage you to implement the steps that we talked about today into your Instagram account and watch your engagement improve. If you need a little help getting started, there is a link below that I'm going to leave for you to be able to access a free social media content calendar, just in case you need a little help getting started. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you'll never miss a video. Just remember, you have the power to create meaningful connections on Instagram and ultimately transform your real estate business. Until I see you on the next one, take care.